Dear children, now we are going to see about ecological factors. What is meant by ecological factors? What are the factors which are affecting the organism which are living in a particular environment, which will be called as ecological factor? Suppose many organisms are coexist in an environment. Varieties of plants, varieties of animals, varieties of microorganisms are living together at a particular place. The environment that is surrounding include physical, chemical and biological components. Physical means air, water, soil, pressure, temperature. So these all comes under physical factors. Chemical, lot of chemicals. Organic, inorganic, chemicals which are present in the soil, in the air, in the atmosphere, in the water. So everywhere are doing a part of role in ecological factor. Biological components, plants, animals, even microorganisms, all are combined together. So when a component of surrounding, an organism affects the life of an organism, it becomes a factor. That means any things which is affecting a living organism, then this will be called as the factors. So all such factors together are called as environmental factors or ecological factors. These are very important. So these factors can be classified into living, that means biotic components or biotic factors. Another one, abiotic, non-living factors. So which make environment an organism. That means biotic as well as abiotic components are interlinked with each other to make the organisms to survive. However, basically, the ecological factors are meaningfully grouped into 4 classes, namely climatic factors, edaphic factors, topographic factors, biotic factors. So, ecological or environmental factors are broadly classified as far as the meaningful group of classes concerned. These are divided into 4 different types of factors: climatic factors, edaphic factors, topographic factors and biotic factors. What is climatic factors? The climatic factors are nothing but what are the things which are available in the climate? Either light or temperature or air, various gases which are available in the atmosphere, air. So these are all will be influence on plants and animals or even microorganisms are considered as climatic factors. Then what is edaphic factors? Edaphic factor means soil factor. Edaphic means soil. So soil water, soil minerals, soil pressure, soil air. So these all are going to be given lot of influence on the plants and animals which are living in a particular place. These are considered as edaphic factors. Topographic factors. What do you mean by topographic factors? So various living conditions, that means plants and animals or even microorganisms can able to survive in different ranges, either altitude or latitude. What do you mean by altitude? What do you mean by latitude? Latitude means 0 degree from the equator or 90 degree from pole. So these are the ranges. That means the horizontal area will be considered as latitude. What is meant by altitude? Above the sea level, gradually if you are increasing the height, these are called as altitude. So whenever the various changes in the altitude, the edaphic condition, that means the living conditions of both plants and animals will be entirely different. For example, at the lower level, most of the organisms can able to survive. When the altitude is gradually increasing, the living condition is little bit increasing. That means they are very suitable for survival. So still if you are going to increase the altitude, the organism cannot able to survive. The pressure will be increases. When the pressure is increases, the organism cannot able to survive. So this easily we can able to understand. So these are called as topographic factor. Then biotic factor, as you know very well. What are biotic factors? Plants, animals, even microorganisms are comes under biotic factors. So each and everything we are going to discuss in detail. First of all, climatic factors. So climate means, as you know very well, climate is one of the important natural factors controlling the plant life, animals life. So the climatic factors include light, temperature, water, wind, fire. Each and every one will be involving either directly or indirectly influence on the survival of the living plants or animals, even microorganisms. These are called as climatic factors. One by one, we can able to understand about various type of climatic factors. First of all, light. Light is doing major important role in plant life. Not only plant life, but also for each and every life. How? Because light is very much essential for preparing food for the plants. So photosynthesis is a phenomenon in which the plants can able to synthesize their own food. So they can able to synthesize their own food only in the presence of light. So this is not only giving food for plant by themselves, but also for each and every living organism which are living in the entire world, either directly or indirectly they are providing food for the entire life. So light is well-known factors needed for basic physiological process of plants and all living organisms, such as photosynthesis. For the purpose of photosynthesis, transpiration. So excess amount of water which are present in the plant will be evaporated through stomata, as you might have studied in 11th class syllabus itself. Then seed germination. Without light, some of the seeds cannot germinate. So light is also very much essential for seed germination. Flowering, blooming the flower. So flowering is the most important physiological process. Without flowering, there is no living organism can perpetuate their race. So flowering is an important physiological process. This is also will be controlled by light. You might have studied in physics about electromagnetic spectrum. As we are going to see about the visible light, which are seen by our naked eye, this part is called visible light. This visible light is having certain range. How much range? 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer. These are the range of light which can be able to see by you. But this visible spectrum is also very much important for the plants for their survival, especially for photosynthesis. The rate of photosynthesis is very high at particular wavelength, particularly in the violet color and red color. So violet color wavelength might be 400 nanometer to 500 nanometer or blue color light. At red color, 600 nanometer to 700 nanometer. So these blue and red color wavelength, that means 400 to 700 nanometers are very, very suitable for photosynthesis. So this wavelength will be very much important for plants, for their survival. Especially the green color. The green color is totally waste of the green color, particularly the wavelength of 500 to 600 nanometer, the wavelength of spectrum is less strongly absorbed by the plant. So this will not be useful. But even though the visible spectrum is available, among the visible spectrum, blue and green color light will be, blue and red color light will be most suitable for photosynthesis. So this is very important. So this sunlight is directly affecting both plants as well as various living organisms. So effects of lights on plants. This light is very much essential for photosynthesis. This light is also very much essential for opening and closing of stomata for transpiration. So during transpiration, excess amount of water will be evaporated. So due to this, absorption of water and acid absorption will takes place. Simultaneously, exchange of gases between the plants and the atmosphere might be takes place due to opening and closing of stomata. You might have studied in the 11th class syllabus itself. Then movement of plant towards light. So if you keep a plant in a closed container which are having a small hole, the plant is always moving towards sunlight because it is phototropism. All the plants are moving towards sunlight. So sunlight is very much essential for movement. So germination of seeds also need sunlight. For flowering, sunlight is essential. Tubers, some of the potato like tuber can be able to form only in the presence of sunlight. Some of the runners can be able to produce the branches. That is also which is done by sunlight. Stem and leaves formation might be takes place only in the presence of sunlight. So, dear children, please understand that sunlight is very much essential for all the plants. So, various effects of light will be given us very good idea about how much the light is essential for plants. You know, some of the plants can able to survive in a wide range of fluctuation of light. Some other plants, but on the other hand, some other plants cannot be able to survive in a very vast fluctuation of light. For example, heliophytes. Phytes means plants. Helio means sun. That means some of the plants love the lights. So light loving plants. Example, all the angiosperms are light loving plants. Some of the plants, they are shade loving plants. Sheo means shade. Phyte means plants. Plants which loves shades are called as sheophytes. So shade loving plants. For example, bryophytes, stridophytes. These are all the plants. They do not need much amount of light. They essentially little bit light is good enough for their survival. So they most probably they live under the tree or shade. So this is a main place they used to be survive. So sheophyte means the plants which love to survive in shade places. So in deep sea, if you see under the 500 meters below the sea level, some of the organisms cannot be able to understand about what is light is available, which are given by the celestial bodies. So they would not know about the environment in dark condition under the 500 meters below the sea level. Its inhabitants are not aware of existence of celestial source of energy called sun. What then is their source of energy? There is no sunlight. Then how can they produce energy? Only due to organic energy. Okay. Next important factors we are going to discuss about temperature. Temperature is doing a major role next to light. So temperature is one of the important factors which affect almost all the metabolic activities of organism, because all the enzymes, all the proteins which are present, which are activated in various metabolic activities, which is under control of temperature. So all the plants need to do the respiration process or various metabolic process only in the optimum temperature. So when the lower temperature, these enzymes are being inactive. So the plants cannot able to use this energy. And the high temperature is also, these enzymes will be deactivated or destroyed. So only the optimum temperature will be suitable for all plants and animals. On the basis of it, temperature is one of the most important factors which affect almost all the metabolic activities of an organism. Every physiological process in an organism requires an optimum temperature. Not more temperature, not less temperature, optimum. That means this temperature will be around 25 to 30. So the optimum temperature at which shows the maximum metabolic rate. On the basis of it, three limits of temperature can be recognized by any organism. They are minimum temperature, optimum temperature, maximum temperature. Minimum temperature means the physiological activities are lowest. Optimum temperature means the physiological activities are maximum. Then maximum temperature means the physiological activity will be totally stopped due to denatures of enzymes. Based on the temperature prevailing on area, Ranker classified the word vegetation, vegetation means plants, into the following four types. They are megathermos, mesothermos, microthermos and hecistothermos. On the basis of the availability of temperature, the survival of the organisms are classified on the basis of the temperature. They are megatherms, mesotherms, microtherms, hecistotherms. In thermal springs means certain natural water springs might be there. These are having high temperature. They are called as thermal springs. And deep sea or hydrothermal vents are having average temperature exceed more than 100 degrees Celsius. So some of the living organisms are living in that particular temperature as well. Mind it. Based on this range of thermal tolerance, organisms are divided into two different types. That means if an organism can able to tolerate a wide range of temperature fluctuation, they are called as eurythermal. Thermal means temperature. Uri means wide range of fluctuation of temperature. So this organism can able to survive for wide range of fluctuation, even wide range of temperature. Example, Zostera, a marine angiospermic plant, and Artemisia tradentia. These are all some example for eurythermal. Similarly, stenothermal. Stenothermal means they cannot be able to survive for a wide range of temperature fluctuation or temperature variation. So organism which can tolerate only a small range of temperature variations will be considered as stenothermal organisms. So for example, mango plant or palm plant, these are all terrestrial angiosperm. Mango plant do not or cannot grow in a temperate countries like Canada and Germany. So our plant like mango, palm, they cannot be able to survive in a place like Canada and Germany because the temperature variation is high in Germany and Canada. So in this condition, they cannot be able to survive. At one condition, extreme cool, another condition, extreme high temperature. In this various range, these plants like mango cannot be able to survive. Next thing we are going to see about thermal stratification. Usually aquatic habitat, if you see, whether it is marine or freshwater, whether it is pond or sea water. So this aquatic range, this aquatic habitat are divided into three regions. These are called as thermal stratification. It is usually found in aquatic habitat. The change in the temperature profile with increasing depth in the water body are called as thermal stratification. There are three kinds of thermal stratification. Already, just look at the picture. Epilineal, metalinea, hypolineal. So epilineals are being in the upper surface. So these are very easily reaching the sunlight. So the upper layer which are warmly conditioned because they got sunlight. So the temperature is also high and the light is also will be high. So in this region are called as epilineal. The second region is called metalinea. So the temperature is gradually decreasing. So middle layer with the zone, a gradual decrease in temperature. These are called as metalinea. Below the metalinea, almost all cold region. The bottom layer is almost cold region. The temperature is become 0 degrees Celsius. They might be called as hypolineal. So these are called as thermal stratification. This is very important. Three more questions. Epilineal, metalinea and hypolineal. These are the three stratification to be done in aquatic conditions. So variations in latitude, altitude to affect the temperature and vegetations of Earth's surface. So far we have seen about aquatic condition. Now the terrestrial area is also to be affected. The latitude and altitude zone, the vegetation is illustrated below. We are going to discuss in detail. What is latitude? Latitude is an angle which range from 0 at equator and 90 degree at poles. So near to the equator means Indian regions are having high temperature. Then if you are going to move towards the poles, polar region. So from the equator to the poles if you are moving, these are horizontal surfaces. So in the horizontal surfaces, vegetation will be gradually decreasing. For example, in high temperature at the equator, vegetations are very less, meager. When you are moving from equator to pole, gradual vegetations are increases. Once again, if you are moving towards the pole, once again, vegetations are gradually decreases. So on the basis of this latitude, various types of plants and animals can available. Similarly, altitude. Due to how high place is located above the sea level, which will be called as altitude of the place. So from the sea level, if you are gradually increasing in the altitude, various conditions. At the lower level, organisms can survive. When the altitude is gradually increases, the vegetation condition is increases, but beyond this limit, vegetation is totally absent. Particularly, about 3000 to 4000 meter above the sea level, there is no tree at all. So this is also called as tree line. That means above 3000 to 4000 meter above the sea level, we cannot able to see any tree. That means this is called tree line or timber line. The tree line is also called as timber line. That means the conditions from from altitude as well as latitude, vegetative condition or living conditions of plants and animals are gradually changes. So these are we are going to discuss in detail. See here, the latitude zone. This is equator. Gradually, if you are going here in the equator, very meager. When they are going tundra, when we are moving away, coniferous forest is available. When you are moving still far away, deciduous forest. When you are still moving, grassland desert. Still you are moving, tropic. So in the latitude level, gradual various types of vegetations are available. If you see in altitude, altitude means from the sea level, from 1800 meter, tropical rainforest. Gradually, so here the altitude is gradually increases. Then grassland or desert, deciduous forest, then coniferous forest, then tundra, finally snow. There is no plant at all. So in such a way, depends upon the latitude and altitude, various vegetation or plants might be available. So what is the effect of temperature? So far we had studied about temperature. What is the effect of temperature? The temperature affects the enzymatic actions of all biochemical reactions in a plant. So all the temperature might be affect directly to the enzymes which are present in the plants as well as animals. So it is directly involving the all metabolic activities. So optimum temperature, normal living conditions are possible. When the low temperature or high temperature might not be useful for living organism to survive. It influences carbon dioxide and oxygen solubility in biological system. So when the temperature increases, solubility will be decreases of carbon dioxide as well as oxygen. When the temperature at low temperature is also, the solubility might be decreased. So optimum temperature, the dissolving conditions of both carbon dioxide and oxygen is gradually increases. So increasing respiration and stimulate growth of seedlings might be takes place. At low temperature with high humidity, very important, low temperature with high humidity, diseases can spread to plants. That is why this is a corona period. We used to be afraid. The corona have been established during summer vacation in India. We are not bothered about. Some of the people they told that corona might not affect India because it is high temperature. But if the temperature is gradually decreasing, corona might be increasing. When the low temperature, not only corona, almost all the bacteria, virus or microorganisms can able to cause diseases when the condition is low temperature and high humidity. When both are combined together, what will happen? Automatically diseases can spread. So where in temperature with the moisture determines the distributions of the vegetation type. So that's all about the condition called, the climatic condition called temperature. So far we have discussed about light and temperature. Next we are going to see about water. Water is most essential for plants for survival. So water is one of the most important climatic factors. It affects the vital process of all living organisms. Without water, plants cannot not able to survive. Not only plants, each and every living organism, they cannot able to survive. It is believed that even life had originated only in water during the evolution of the earth. So living organism may be arises. Origin of life is started from water only. What is the first organism have been arises? You might have studied. What do you call it? Cyanobacteria, blue-green algae, which have been formed from water. So another important aspect is most of the 70% of the earth are covered by water. So the survival of living organism on water is most essential. This is making the living organism to survive. So water is most important climatic factor. In nature, water is available to plants in three ways. What are the ways? One is from atmospheric moisture, or from rain, or in the soil water, or it may be available in the form of precipitation. So productivity and distributions of plant depends upon the availability of water. So how much amount of water is available, on the basis of it, the productivity of fruits and vegetables which will be produced by plants, or what are the metabolic products, primary metabolites or secondary metabolites, or which are produced in the plants, which will be depends upon the availability of water. Further, the quality of water is also important, especially if you see in pond, it is having 0%, not 0%, very few percentage of salt. But when you are going to marine water, around 35% of salt is available in marine. So, in some of the places, if you see in Dead Sea, more than 35, nearly 100% salt is available. So, what is the living conditions? So, in these three different areas, I had explained to you. So, this will be depends upon. Further, the quality of water is also important, especially for aquatic organisms. The total amount of water, salinity means salt content in water. So, water salinity in different water bodies are 5% in land water. That means in freshwater, pond, pools, ditches, canals, rivers, these are all having 5% of salt. That means very less amount. That is why if we can drink, we might not feel about saltiness. But when you are going to sea water, we cannot be able to drink because they are having 30 to 35% of salt. Some of the sea water, more than 100%, these are called as hypersaline water, lagoons. These are called as lagoons. Based on the range of tolerance of salinity, all the living places, some of the organisms can be able to survive. That means the salinity, we cannot be able to survive for high salinity conditions. Some of the plants cannot be able to survive in high salinity conditions. But some of the organisms can be able to survive in a wide range of salinity. So these are called as euryhaline. But some other organisms like human being or some other plants, they cannot be able to survive for wide range of salinity. These are called as stenohaline. So on the basis of it, the organisms will be divided into two types. One is euryhaline, another one is stenohaline. Euryhaline means organism which can be able to survive and can live in water with wide range of salinity. For example, marine algae, marine angiosperms, these are all some examples for euryhaline. Similarly, stenohaline means the organism, they cannot be able to survive for wide range of salinity. Only they can limited to survive in a little bit, 5 to 10% of salt is available, they can able to survive. So organism which can able to withstand only small range of salinity. Example, plants of estuaries. Estuaries means the river which is meeting the salt water. There is a river meeting the sea water or ocean. These are the places which are called as estuaries. These organisms, the organisms which are survive in estuaries, they have to be adapted for both salinity as well as freshwater conditions. So such a type of organism will be comes under stenohaline. So on the basis of it, whether stenothermal or eurythermal, various types of environmental factors, temperature, salinity, habit selection, that is called niche, water, food, depth of water, habitat, everything will be differ on the basis of the tolerance of every living organism. Examples of tolerance of toxicity. So far we have discussed about tolerance of salinity. That means they can be able to survive in salt condition. What is meant by toxicity? Toxic means poison. So some of the plants which can be able to survive even in the poisonous place. For example, make a small hole on a plant. If you drop a mercury drop, the plants will die because it's a poison to plant. They cannot be able to survive. Similarly, cadmium. Cadmium is a very highly poisonous. They cannot be able to survive. But some of the plants can be able to survive. Some of the plants like tomato. Tomato plant can be able to survive because they can be able to store in certain cells. They will not be separate to all the cells. Similarly, rice plant is also can be able to store the cadmium. Even the cadmium is very poisonous. So these are various conditions. Soya bean and tomato manage to tolerate presence of cadmium poisoning by isolating cadmium and storing in few groups of cells and prevent cadmium affecting other cells. So in such a way, they can be able to tolerate against toxicity. Some of the plant like rice, paddy plant, Iconia. Iconia means Sahaya Tamara in Tamil. So Iconia, tolerance of cadmium by binding it to their proteins. So that means the cadmium will be linked with or joined with proteins, so hence they might not affect. These are called as phytoremediation. Phyto means plants, remediation means removal of pollutants by plants are called as phytoremediation. So these are all the plants which are removing the poisonous chemicals which are present on the soil. These are called as phytoremediation. And next we are going to see another important climatic factor, it is called as air. Air in motion is called as wind. Air is essential. Air is also very most important factors which is essential for plants because it consists of carbon dioxide. For the photosynthesis, plants need carbon dioxide. Similarly, all the living organisms need oxygen for respiration. These are all available in the air. The atmospheric air condition contains a number of gases, number of particles and other constitutions as well. So composition of gases are in the atmosphere around 78% consists of nitrogen, oxygen is 21%. So almost 99% of atmosphere will be occupied by nitrogen and oxygen. The remaining 1% will be shared by some other things. For example, carbon dioxide will be available 0.03%. Argon means it is inert gas. Argon and some other gases around 0.93%. Apart from this, the other component of wind are also water vapor, gaseous pollutants, dust, smoke particles, microorganisms, pollen grains, spores, etc. So there is a specialized type of a device. Anemometer is an instrument used to measure the speed of wind. Anemometer is a device which can be able to understand about the speed of wind. And so far we had explained about the wind. What are the effects of wind? Wind is an important factor for formation of rain. So due to movement of wind or air, rain arises. Rain might be causes. Cause wave formation in lakes, ocean, which promote aeration among the water. So wave motion which are available in sea as well as in the lake due to wind. Strong wind can cause soil erosion and also reduces soil fertility as well. Increase the rate of transpiration. So if there is any wind which can evaporate excess amount of water which are present on the leaves due to stomata opening, then which can be able to remove unnecessary excess amount of water. Due to this transpiration, the plant can absorb water. It is also helpful to dispose of many fruits, seeds, spores. It is also helpful in pollination in anemophilous plants. The anemophilous means the plants which are dispersing their seeds, the plants which are pollinating their pollen grains and travel to the stigma, which will be done by air or called as anemophilous plants. Strong wind may cause uprooting the big trees. Even big trees is also to be uprooted by very strong wind. Unidirectional or wind stimulate the development of flag forms. So this is called flag forms. So in one direction, if the wind is slow, the plant will be moving like a flag. That's all about the wind climatic factor. Now we can conclude the climatic factor with fire. Fire is also another important factor which is essential for living organisms, especially for plant. So if you see, fire is actually exothermic. Thermic means heat, exo means releasing heat. So fire is a process in which is releasing heat, which are called as exothermic factor caused due to chemical process of combustion, releasing heat and light. So if there is any combustion which will releasing both heat and light, so this is called fire. It is mostly man-made. The fire making of fire, which is most probably man-made. Very rare occasion at some time developed naturally due to the friction between tree surfaces. So when the leaves and the stems are become dry during summer, due to the friction between the trees or leaves, which cause a fire. So this is very rare accident. So forest fire might be occur due to this condition. So fire is generally divided into three different types: ground fire, surface fire, ground fire. What is meant by ground fire? Ground fires are nothing but which is flameless and subterranean. That means fire underground, which will not be visible to open eyes, which will be takes place underground. Surface fire means on the surface of the earth, the small herbs and plants are dry, it will be fired. So which will be easily we can able to see. So which consumes herbs and shrubs if there is any surface fire. But ground fire is highly dangerous, which burns a forest completely, which burns a forest canopy. All the trees which are available on the forest will be completely fired due to ground fire. Then what are the effects of fire? Fire has direct lethal effect of plants. If there is any fire, all the plants might be uprooted or killed. Burn scales are suitable places for entry of parasitic fungi and insect. If there is any fire has happened, this will be very good survival for parasitic fungus as well as insect. So they can spread all over. This forest fire which is bring out alteration of light, rainfall, nutrient cycle, fertility of the soil, pH, soil, flora and fauna, everything will be changed due to fire. Some fungi which grow in soil are burnt area only. So some of the fungus, some of the fungi, that means fungus, which can able to grow in burnt area. For example, Pyrophilus. Pyrophilus is one of the important types of fungus. These can able to grow only the burnt area. They can able to grow. Example, Virino confluence. This is one example for what do you call? Certain fungus which can able to grow in burnt area. That's all about today's part of the lesson.